Hello and welcome back to Invitation to Puzzles, where we have a Region Sumlines puzzle by AFK. Funnily enough, I'd mentioned to a few people that I had not had any Region Sumlines puzzles in this series yet, and so a few people set some for me. Among them, actually, AFrayedKnot set one before, but then, messaged me shortly thereafter to be like, hey, actually, don't do that one. Do this one. This one's way better. But by that point, I'd already recorded the previous one. So this is actually the second Region Sumlines by AFrayedKnot that has appeared in the Invitation to Puzzles series. So let's go in and have a look at how this works. Oh, I meant to turn on row column labels, but whatever. We'll put on row column labels. There is a link down in the description if you want to give this puzzle a go yourself. And let's go ahead and have a look at how this rule set works. So the way that I think makes the most sense to think about this is to think of each of the clues as a piece of blue rope, and to picture the box borders as like razors that cut the rope. So this is a piece of rope that has been cut into three pieces. That piece, and that piece, the yellow piece, the orange piece, and the green piece. And the statement of a region sum line is each piece has to have the same sum. Okay, so likewise, some of these only have two pieces, like that one. This one only has two pieces. And every piece of rope is different. Or I guess every strand of rope before you cut it is different. So the sum can be different. All I know is that for this particular one, those three end up having the same sum. So I'm going to go ahead and give this a try. I hope you will as well. And so as with all genres, there's some tropes as to things you should look for when you are doing region sumlines puzzles. And one of the things you should definitely look for when you're doing a region sumlines puzzle is you should look for a place where you have a 5-cell sum equal to a 2-cell sum, which in fact we have here, and in fact we have here. And the reason for that is that the minimum sum of 5 cells is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And the maximum sum of 2 cells is 17. And so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is 15. That's not that far from 17. So you already know that these need to sum to at least 15. That actually already tells you they need to involve digits that are a minimum 6. But the same argument applies symmetrically over here, that we get that these need to be a minimum of 6. And so actually, if you look at this whole row now, that's a 6, 7, 8, 9 quadruple. In other words, what that's telling you is that this is one of each of 6, 7, 8, and 9. Those add to 30, and therefore my green digits also add to 30, and hence they can't be anything but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in both cases. And so these are actually all known to be 6, 7, 8, 9. And these are known to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are also 6, 7, 8, 9, by the way. And that's also 6, 7, 8, 9 because I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quadruple in the row. Okay, so this little sum is catching my eye. Namely, these two sum to a minimum of 13. But this digit's kind of small, and it adds with this digit to be equal to that. So just looking at that little slice. So this digit can only possibly be 8 or 9, is what I'm seeing from that. And this digit, if I think about it, because this needs to get to a minimum of 13. 6 plus 7 is 13. This needs to be at least a 4. So this is a 4 or a 5. And that's actually very convenient. I didn't think about this before. Exactly the same argument applies over here. these two need to sum to at least 13, and ergo, this is an 8 or a 9, and that's a 4 or a 5. And now that actually gives me a 4 or 5 pair in the row. But also, actually, I can just total these and see that that's 9 plus 17 is 26. That's exactly 26, is double this number. So this number is 13. So that's a 6, 7 pair. That's not a 6 or a 7. That's not a 6 or a 7. That is lovely. And now I actually get to write in this digit because I know this line sum is 13, and 1, 2, and 3 happen to sum to 6. So this digit is a 7. Who had bets that 7 would be the first digit that we would write in this puzzle? It would not have been my guess, but here we are. Okay, so these digits are actually pretty big. I suppose, is one of the morals. Okay, so what do we do now? So I feel like I can probably do something with this line, because this line has to have a pretty high sum, which seems fine because this side is bigger, but this side also only gets to have 1, 6, 7, 8, 9 on it because I've already used a bunch of them in here. So, like, what's the maximum this can sum to? It's like 9 plus 5, 4, 3. 9 plus 5, 4, 3 is 21. Okay, so that is exactly what this has to be. So, just to go over that again, I only have 4, 6, 7, 8, 9s in the box, and 3 of them are up here. So I can use one of them here. Be a 9. And then I can only use numbers smaller than that, so 5, 4, and 3 is the biggest I could possibly make. And so that's 21. Well, that's the smallest I can actually make these. That's glorious that works out that way. So that makes these 6, 7, 8. Forcing that, that's really cool. Okay, so that's 9. I'm delighted by that. So now that digit's 9, that digit's 8, that digit's 9. Remember, these two sum to 15 because that was the sum of this line. So those are 7, 8, which is now, that's a 9 and that's an 8. Oops. Sorry, that's a 9 and that's a 6. How about that? That sounds better, doesn't it? I think that sounds a lot better. Okay, so we've got a 3, 4, 5 now. So these are not 3, 4, or 5. Those are 1 and 2. That 9 looks down there and makes that an 8, which makes that a 5 and a 9 and a 4. Because remember, the sum of this line is 13. That 9 actually comes over here. Wow, this is gorgeous. Makes this a 7, 8 pair. Makes these a 6, 9 pair because, again, they need to add to 15. And the two ways to add to 15 in 2 are 6, 9 and 7, 8, but can't be 6, 9 because of that 9. Okay, so no 4 over there. Okay, so now these can't actually sum to all that much, but I don't know that they really want to sum to all that much, if I'm being honest with you. These numbers are all tiny. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, which is maybe most interesting for that digit. Because these these 4 have to sum to at least 10 as 1, 2, 3, 4, which means this needs to be at least 6. It doesn't feel great as conclusions go that I've made in the history of my life. One of these is a 9. Oh, okay, I can do better. One of these two digits is a 7. That's the point. By Sudoku, if I look at the 7s, one of these two is a 7, which pushes up the minimum considerably, because now this line's minimum is 1, 2, 3, and 7, which is 13, which also happens to be the maximum of these two as 4 and 9. This is really impressive setting here. I see why AFK was like, not that I didn't like the other one, but I see why AFK was like, oh no, you should do this one, because this one is really impressive. Okay, so, oh, right, and now I know this is 1, 2, 3, 7. I should also fill in because I knew that that was the num. And so this is the 4 because the box needed a 4 somewhere. That gets rid of those. Okay. These 2 digits, I know what they are. They are 1 and 2. Should probably fill that in. So none of these are 1, 2. Gives me a 3, 4, 5. Is a 9 over down here? Do I know much about what's going on here? I don't think I really know much about what's going on over there. Trying to figure out if there's another digit I can Sudoku on here. And I do know these need to add to at least 10, just because it's a sum of... Actually, I guess I know they need to add to at least 11, because these are at least 1, 2, 3, 5. But that's not incredibly exciting. I feel like I'm now missing... Especially given the rest of the puzzle, I feel like I'm now missing something. It's probably Sudoku. It's gotta be Sudoku. What am I missing? Let's see. I've got the 6 of an 8. We know the 8's over there. We know there's an 8 over down there. That's all fine. These numbers sum to at most 15, but that doesn't feel like a problem at all. I guess it's at most 14, actually, because I can't use the 4. So it's 3, 5, 6 is the most they can sum to, which is 14. I wonder if I'm supposed to use the fact that I know the sum of both of these lines. That's what I'm supposed to use. I know the sum of both of these. So putting these yellow cells together, we know the sum of these, which is 32, because the rest of them sum to 13. And so that means these green cells sum... These green cells also sum to 32. I highlighted one more thing, which means that these sort of outliers also sum to 13, which sure feels useful, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound useful? I thought it sounded useful. But now it's seeming less useful. I mean, I guess it does mean that these sum to a maximum of 12. So these sum to a maximum of 12. It doesn't seem incredibly useful, actually. Okay, this line also had sum 13, but I can't get that in there, I don't think. Do I need to ask what these digits actually are? Maybe I need to ask what these digits actually are. So they could be 1, 2, 3. They can't be 4. They could be 5. They can't be 6. They could be 7, and they can't be 8 or 9. So I guess the maximum of these is like 2, 3, 5, 7, but that's not a useful maximum. Because 2, 3, 5, 7 would be 17, which is also the maximum that they could possibly be, just generally. I'm really trying to like see like, do I know something about like if the 9 is there versus if the 9 is there? I know there's a 1, 2, 3 in here just by Sudoku, which is not super compelling. I know there's a 4 and a 9 in here for what it's worth. Oh, and an 8. I actually know what these are exactly. That's the point. Okay. By Sudoku, the 8 is in here. So these are, in fact, exactly 4, 8, 9. Oh, that's annoying that these can still be exactly 8, 9. These are, let's see, the other things. These are 5 and 6. Oh, this can't sum to 8. This can't sum to 17 because this column can't. So there's definitely a 4 in here is what I'm saying. Because if there's no 4 in here, these sum to 17, but then this would have to also be 8, 9. It'd be the only way, which I mean would even clash with this 8, 9, but even simpler would clash with that 9. So one of these is a 4, so that's not. So these sum to either 12 or 13 is the short version. So they definitely don't have both a 5 and a 7 for whatever that's worth. Let's see. Is there a way to sum to 12 that these actually could be? I don't think there is, actually. Because this can't possibly be 4, 8. It can't be 3, 9, and it can't be 5, 7. And that's the only ways you can do it. 9, 8, 7. You can't do double 6. So actually the sum can't be 12 because there's no pair. And it's just to sort of go over that again. If this were 8, 4, the problem is that cell now has no value. So there's actually no way to make these two cells sum to 12. Just because the 9 and 7 are up there. So the sum can't be 12. The sum has to be 13, making that 4 and 9, making that 8. Gives me the 7 and the 8 up there. Okay, so now this is a sum to 13. Hopefully there's one of those that exists. It's not 4, 9 or 6, 7. So it's 5, 8 is the option. So that's the only one. So there is a 3. So 1 or a 2. Okay, so yeah, so we know, yeah, right. We know that these all add to 13, which is not maybe the most exciting. Okay, I need to make these add to 13. So that probably doesn't involve a 7. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 7 works. So it could be 1, 2, 3, 7. Or if I don't use a 7, yeah, if I don't use the 7, it's 1, 2, 3, 5, which is too small because that's only 11. Right. Okay, so I have to use the 7. It's convenient because this is only 5 digits is what I realized. This is only 5 digits, so you throw one away, you know what the sum is. So it's just the question of which do I throw away in order to make the sum 13. And slight examination tells you that the number is 5 that you're supposed to throw away. So now that 7 looks up and places a 7 there. These digits are now known to be 5, 6, and 8. It tells me that these aren't 5. So one of those is 5. Okay, we don't quite have a handle on what this is yet, but we're close. Let's see. Do we have any more Sudoku? We know there's a 5 and a 6 in here. Oh, I think it has to be 1, 5, 6 by what we argued before. I think probably this wasn't the intended way to argue it, but we do know that these digits add to 13. And so the maximum sum of these digits, actually, I think this probably is exactly how I was supposed to argue it now that I look at it. It doesn't matter. It's how we're going to argue it. But I think actually this is probably exactly what I was intended to do. These sum to a maximum of 12 because these all together sum to 13. Well, the minimum I can make them sum now because they have a 5 and a 6 in them is 5, 6, and 1. Which happens to be 12, which means this is a 1 in a roundabout complicated way because of the fact that these now sum to 12. Not as 5, 7, or 4, 8. So they have to be 3, 9, actually, is the way they sum to 12. Let's see. We can do a little bit of a chase. That's a 1 over there. That is a 2. That's a 1. Let's see. This has been a wonderful puzzle. Great work. Let's see. I see we have placed the 1 and the 5 up here due to that 3, 4 pair. living its best life. This 3, 9 looks up and tells me that's a 1 and a 3 in that order, which gives me a 2 and a 1 in that order. These are a 2 and a 3, I want to say. Let's see. These need to add to 12. They're not 4, 8, or 3, 9, so they got to be 5, 7 in some undisclosed order. I see that actually tells me that this digit's a 5 because of what I always call a Zackwing after our mascot. The 5 is in one of these 2 cells in this box and in one of these 2 cells in this box. So in row 9, it has to be in this box and it can only go there. It's a Zackwing because it's about boxes rather than across boxes. If you're asking why is that different than an X-Wing, it's because X-Wings are across boxes. It doesn't matter. Call it whatever you want, but call it a Zackwing because Zach is a prima donna and enjoys it. Okay, these digits I can fill in, and I can make sure that they actually sum to the number they're supposed to. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 7 is 19, which is lo and behold what they're supposed to. Okay, that's good. And this is a naked 6. That also seems good. So that's a 5 and a 6 and a 4 and a 5 and an 8 and a 6 and a 5 and an 8, 7 and a 5. Now we're, I think, closing in on the solution here. Yep, so that's a 6 and an 8 and a 7 and a 6 and a 7, 8 and a 7, 1. This is a 2, 3 down here by the column, which I see makes a 2, 3 pair in the row, which seems to make that a 7, a 4, and a 7, and a 9, and a 3, because the 2, 3 pair also rules 3 out of that cell. So that's a 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 2, 3, 4. Now go in. 3, 4 going up there. And now in this row, we still need a 1, and it goes there. And then we need another digit to be named later. Nope, I just tried them all. There's no more digits. It's a 3. 2 and 3, 5 and 2, 6 and 5. Let's see. These are 4 and 9, I believe, in that order. And these are 6 and 8 in that order. Lovely puzzle. The fact that I have already hearted this puzzle suggests that it's going to turn out that I actually solved this puzzle before. And Tristan's going to be like, oh no, we can't use the solve. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I think we can probably use it anyway. It's not too early in the series to be repeating puzzles by accident, is it? I don't think so. All right. Maybe the heart was for the previous puzzle that maybe AFrayedKnot also called Region Sum Lines. We'll hope that is true, because the heart is tracked by puzzle and author. Because I frequently have it come up that I have previously hearted the puzzle Untitled by unknown author. And so frequently I do something I'm like, wait, have I already done this before? But it turns out it's just because I'm testing something that doesn't have a title or author yet. Anyway, huge thank you to AFK for that. That was delightful. And I hope you enjoyed it as well. Thanks everyone for watching. Do give us a subscribe, give the video a thumbs up. We always enjoy those, and a nice comment. Thank you for watching, and bye for now.